Hello! Hello! You're watching and listening to Loose Gadgies. Why do I always touch me glasses like that at the start of every bloody episode? Alright,
Yeah.
alright.
It's Morecambe and Wise. It's not the Loose Gadgets, it's Morecambe and Wise.
I was just about to say that. Alright. Hey. Hey, we went to get a drink. Just before we started recording. I realised I'd left a full cup of tea, stone cold. I make a fresh one. Have you drank your tea? It's me mum, that. You drank your tea? Oh, you can't drink that. Yeah, make a fresh one. Now, stuck it in the microwave. I was going to. Realised I'd left the glass. It's not a plate, is it? Like a thing. Glass platform? I don't know. The rotatey thing.
The tray.
I'd left that out. The tray, aye. It's not a tray, the tray's metal, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'd left it out to remind myself to wash it. Yeah. Right, so I went, I'm going to have to put this back in. And I don't care who you are, or how many little knobbly bits you've got on the bottom. You know, you've got to match up the little knobbly bits with the spinny thing in the microwave. It takes you 9,000 goes. Yeah. You can keep spinning it. A complete 360 and it just won't go in. Go, get on the thing, and you're looking at it, right, kitchen, put the kitchen light on. Hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Couldn't get it in. It's three little bumps you've just got to put into these three little gaps, and it won't go in.
You know why? Because we never went to university and got a PhD.
Aye. I didn't. Didn't. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Can't do anything.
It's because your mum will tell us it's because you haven't washed it.
Yeah.
It's because you haven't washed it.
How do we, man?
Get it washed.
How do we, man?
How do we? Get it washed.
Yeah, get it washed, aye. Bit of fairy liquid.
It's full of Clarts. Get it washed.
Full of Clarts. Yeah.
Look at that. Have you seen the state? It's full of Clarts.
Yeah. Give it a good scrubbing.
Give it then let it soak.
Yeah.
No, that was me dad. Let it soak. You wouldn't do pans though. You literally used to throw them in the garden. I'll do the plates. There would just be a pan in the garden. Who's ours? Your dad washing the dishes.
Yeah.
You won't do pans. Oh, you can just leave them on the side. Leave them on the side. I'll do them later.
Yeah. So,
there's a lesson in Geordieism for you.
Somebody shall remain nameless on this one. They said to me, my partner wouldn't clean the roast potato tin. They would clean everything else but leave the roast potato tin. And then one day it was found at the bottom of the garden, so you can go and yourself all your roast potatoes. No roast potatoes on a Sunday at the bottom of the garden. Yeah, never mind.
I know you did that with my dad's printer.
Yeah.
The number of times I've had to go around there, printer's not working. I need to print this, and I go around there, and it's a receipt that he's going to put in a file and then put in his drawer in the study and never look at it again. I need to print it though.
Yeah.
I need to print it. He's the only guy. He's the only guy I know that'll do everything on a spreadsheet.
My printer's going to be alright.
What's that? GM. I like me dad. He goes up and gets them in bulk.
From Amazon.
He's the same. He's the same. But he's the only guy I know that'll type everything into Word documents and then a spreadsheet, work it all out, and then print out the spreadsheet, put it in one of them plastic little
sleeves
pockets. Yeah, and then put the sleeve in one of them cardboard ones, and then put the thing in the drawer and then leave it.
Yeah.
What's that for? Well, you never know. You don't know, do you? What do you mean? Well, you don't know, do you?
No, it's like your shed, like your shed. Clean your shed out.
It's full of Clarts.
That sounds. No, I was going to take that to a new level. I'll save that for another day. You're eating.
I was on a dare. I was on a dare to use the what?
Yeah.
I was on a dare to use the word clap.
Well, you're on a dare to use the word Clarts. Love it. You know, I saw one on the North Shields Facebook page, and you know them black little trainers we used to wear for gym at school. What were they called?
Oh, like the plimsolls.
Sand shoes.
Sand shoes. Sand shoes. Did you ever wear them at the beach? No.
No, I kept them for good.
No. The sand shoes. No, they're for wearing on a yacht. They're yacht shoes.
Yeah.
Depending on where you come
Because
from.
I can't spell.
I've seen someone wear them for work.
Because I can't spell yacht. What does that make it now? Yacht.
Yeah, sand shoes.
Sand shoes from a yacht.
Honestly, I've seen this smug idiot. Yeah. He was worked right where I used to work. He came in with his shorts. He was a director, right? Came in, shorts, jumper tied round his neck, wearing them shoes for work. So what's the matter with you? Well, no, they're boat shoes. These are boat shoes. I was like, they're not. They're either plimsolls or sand shoes. I didn't tell him that. He was a bit too posh to get it. You know what I mean? I was like, and he's a director. Went, nah. Nah. So we all spoke about it when he left.
He paid 120 quid for his, and we paid £3.75.
I know. Aye. From the shop next to Geordie Jeans.
Geordie Jeans, what are they like? Keep you really warm.
Geordie Jeans.
Oh, look at him. He's got Geordie Jeans on. He must be posh.
Keep him for best. Keep him for best.
Don't put them in the washing machine with anything else, like, because the whole wash can's blue. You know.
Aye. You keep him for best, though.
Sunday best.
You're not getting another pair. Aye, Sunday best.
Keep, as I was required to do, because I had to go to church, you know. So keep them for church. Keep them for church. You know.
Did you? I never went
to
church.
I had to go.
I remember going to Sunday school when I was 5 or 6 or something. When I used to live in Long Benton.
Yeah. You can't.
I remember going there. I just found it
outside
weird.
of the northeast, you can't say that name without smirking.
What's that? What?
Which place did you just mention?
Long Benton. Long Bent one. All right. I used to call it that.
Where do you come from?
Where you
from? Cockermouth. What?
Cockermouth. Aye. Long Bent one.
Hey, what's today's subject, Simone?
I told you. Oh, it's a Friday, isn't it? So it's Simone.
Yeah.
Of course, I walked right into that, didn't I?
I
walked right into it.
When we were practicing before, I was telling Simon that I feel like I've got an extra day off, so it feels like a Saturday to me. Saturday, a proper Saturday, but it's actually Friday. So, the subject today is...
Remember this?
Yeah.
Remember this? With your hood on?
Yeah.
Your coat, just your hood. Coat's got arms, you know. I'm talking about...
Catching the wind on it.
I'm catching the wind.
Catching the wind on it.
I was talking about the Mam book. Yeah. The Mam book today on WhatsApp. Yeah,
the Mam Bible.
Oh. The Mam Bible, it surprises the hell out of me how many Geordie Mams all know the same sayings, except my mum, whose favourite for a while was, "Hey, you can get burnt." I tell him you can get burnt. Yeah. I don't want it. So, Mum, you can't tell me to get burnt. Well, I've said it. I've said it now.
Yeah.
Said it now.
Can I take it back?
So, you can take it back. Yeah. You can take it back. Can I take it away? Yeah. It's sleep habits, and a bit of productivity. I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or rather, we're going to use a bit of productivity to explain the ideas. I think. So productivity is the vehicle that we're going to use.
I like that. Ugh. It's the bridge.
It's the bridge.
It's the bridge to productivity.
It's the pasta bridge made from marshmallows that I did in the team building exercise.
Yeah.
Don't invite me to any more.
So this is a sort of killer start question, not a killer question, but just killer. So you're an early bird or a night owl?
Got to pick one. It's got to be a night owl.
Because we know
I'd be lying.
We know I'm the opposite. Talk to me about how you became a night owl.
Can I first talk to you about how you used to come into my office at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and the coffee machine was next door to my office, and I would hear the machine going, oh, is that him? Door would swing, right open. Morning! I was like, Jesus! Every morning, without fail, like clockwork. Oh. You knew what that did to us.
Yeah.
but you seem to revel in
Luckily,
it.
at the time, you had my son working in your office, so he'd been suffering for years.
So it was a suffering shared.
Yeah.
Suffering shared.
It was,
aye.
yeah.
Aye.
So as we worked out from that, I'm an early bird, and how did you become a night owl?
When we've had discussions about this before, I tried to work back to the point where, my sleeping habits became my sleeping habits, and because obviously back in the day, your mum used to send you to bed. Can I stay up? All of that. Basically, all that was on was the South Bank shows. I mean, it wasn't worth staying up, was it?
The news.
Melvin, what's his face?
Bragg.
Aye. Melvin Bragg. Aye. Why am I watching this? Well, it's better than going to bed, though, isn't it? Get to stay up at 9 o'clock. I've just found that, when I'm working, I used to come home and I would try and maximise the number of hours that were my hours. And this gets worse for me the more I dislike what I'm doing, the more I kind of pile on myself at home and just want to not go to sleep, because going to sleep means getting up, means going to this job that I'm not enjoying. But the moment I'm on holiday, sleep schedule is the first thing to go in the bin.
Yeah.
That's it. Goes in the bin, and I just stay up until I need to go to sleep. And now these days, I'll have some days when the clock wraps around, and I'm up during the day. But I can literally sleep. It doesn't matter whether it's daytime, nighttime, whether it's bright sunlight outside, doesn't matter. I have no discipline. I can be disciplined when I need to, but if I've got no reason to be, it's like, let's crack on. I've got stuff I want to do, and eventually I'll just start yawning and go, right, it's time to go. It's time to go. Usually about 5 in the morning. The number of times I've seen the sun come up when I got up, or when I went to bed, and then I've seen the sun come up again. And I've been up 24 hours.
You up?
Just
Up to
faffing.
dawn's crack this morning, weren't you?
Aye. Oh, aye. I could see the dew on the grass.
Could you? Look at you.
Aye. Sweaty arse. Sweaty arse.
Yeah, what time was your last post last night?
10 to 3.
10 to 3.
10 to 3 I was posting about sleep.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to have to mention in the post, the fact that I was posting it at 2:50 was not lost on us. And what I do not like, and this should be banned, there should be some sort of grammar-based laws where you can't say, well, I did it at 2 a.m. in the morning. 2 a.m. is the morning.
Yeah.
I always say, it was 2 p.m. at night. No, what you mean is, it was 2 at night, or 2 in the morning, or it was 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. You can't say, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Shut up.
I was this discussion as part of a piece of work I was doing. So 2 a.m. is not night, it's morning.
Yes, it is. Technically.
But everybody says it's the middle of the night. It's not the middle of the night.
Nah. He didn't get to bed in the middle of the night. What time was it?
It was 10 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
It was 10 o'clock.
It's funny. I used to say, so what time are you? What time? I'm on the earlies. I'm on the earlies. I was up at 5:30. I was like, that's still yesterday for me. It's still yesterday. That changed. As soon as I started working for myself, or I had holidays, that all changed. As soon as I've got no responsibility to get up, I have zero responsibility towards sleeping. It's like, well, it'll happen at some point. So I've spent many, many nights on the sofa because I just go, I need
What about those people, and I'd probably be one of them, that said, your body needs consistency?
Well, it's a bit of a chubby consistency at the minute. Does that count?
Is that the shape of your sofa now?
Funny. I've been sitting in the same spot since I bought it, and you can tell where I've been sitting. Absolutely. And the cat used to sit. So he had his spot. I had my spot. But like Sheldon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't take Sheldon's spot.
Like don't sit in my spot. Yeah, I'm very much like that. Mind you, don't sit in your dad's chair. That's your dad's chair.
Yeah.
That's where all the remotes are. Don't sit in your dad's chair.
All lined up like little guns on the side, aren't they?
Yeah. We're facing the telly. Don't sit in your dad's chair.
Can I switch that over? Can I switch that over? No, I'm watching
Nah,
it, but you're
I'm
asleep.
watching it. I was watching it. I was
I was
listening.
listening. I was taking it in.
Ski Sunday.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Geordie Nostalgia
That's
Podcast.
it. Yeah, we've renamed it. Yeah. And after this program,
I was
songs
tempted
of praise.
Huh? Oh. Now what it is.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, I think we're
Nah.
going. Sorry, I'm going to use a ski analogy. We're going off pissed.
Going off pissed.
Sorry, pieced. We're going off pieced here.
Piste.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you always been just someone who just gets up? That's it. You get up in the morning,
Yeah.
wide awake.
As you know, I'm very to the annoyance of my wife, my family. I am very routine based in terms of sleep, and it's become more and more pronounced as I get older. You know my phrase: "Win the morning, win the day." So it's very much Monday to Sunday. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. I'm up, dawn's crack.
Dawn's crack. You're up, dawn's
That's
crack.
it. Always, up with a lark.
Mining helmet.
Yeah,
Got a mining helmet. Got the
early
lamp on.
bird catches a big worm. So
Send the canary in
that's
first.
it. So yeah, I think I've always, it goes back to being a kid. Obviously, not to go too deep, but I used to have a bit.
That's what she said.
Yeah, meh. My turn. I remember really sort of youngish, like when you were 4 and you were allowed to do a paper round in the northeast in them days.
Yeah. You're on pocket money. We're in pocket money. Going to the paper shop.
So I was round in New York. I was round at Thompson's newspaper shop really early, like 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning. And there was me and I think he was called Ken Roberts. Me and Ken Roberts had a competition to see who could get to the paper shop before it opened. So I camped out overnight, metaphorically speaking. So it was always me and him who pride in getting there first before Mr. Thompson opened the shop. So it came from there. And then of course I was blessed when I started at Marx's because I managed to get on the early shift. It was 6 till 1, and I loved it. So it just continued. It was.
It's kind of. I remember me, you and Michael when we used to do our TV and movie Sundays.
Yeah.
He used to do the breakfast and that. Epic breakfasts. But we watched a movie on an evening, and it got sort of towards 10:30, and I could just see you struggling, just starting to doze off, almost like clockwork. It was like, right, bed. I should be in bed by now.
Yeah.
Bed by, and you just started dozing off. I thought, wow, you've got that it's so in there.
I know.
Your body just knows now it's time to go. It's time to go.
I know, and
unless the boxing's on.
the boxing, yeah, and then that just boils my wife's blood.
You can stay up for that.
It's interesting.
You can stay up for that.
It's interesting because I measured my sleep pattern on me posh watch, and three nights in a row, which was Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night last week. Friday night I got back late on a flight, so my sleep pattern was slightly off. Saturday night I watched the boxing, so my sleep pattern was slightly off. Sunday I did a bit of a workout, and my Sunday sleep pattern was basically perfect. So I had 2 nights of disturbance, and then third night was perfect.
Just went straight
back into it. And it's, when you look at, we might touch on like circadian rhythms and the 90 minutes of cycles of each rhythm of sleep, and trying to get the most out of your first 2. We might come to that. It just depends on how the flow of the conversation goes. But interestingly, I was thinking about if you were to remember the old days at Pandora, and it's us, the boss that we had. Sometimes we'll mention him, sometimes we don't. But there was always that bit about when would you ask for a pay rise? Well, would you ask on a Monday or would you ask on a Friday? So when are people at their best in terms of their sleep pattern and their motivation? So, when would you have asked for a pay rise? Monday or a Friday?
That's a good question. Are they going to be knackered and potentially cheesed off by the Friday, thinking about going home? There's a chance they might just go, yes, yes. Or they'll be like, what are you bugging me for?
Yeah.
What are you bugging me for? So,
but remember,
isn't it going to be down to like...
Remember our boss,
what's that like?
every 2 weeks, where did he go?
Oh, aye. He drove a million hours home,
To
didn't
see
he?
what?
His family.
Correct.
Aye, so you don't want to bug him.
No, he was always in a good mood that Friday afternoon. Always.
Ah, right. I see what you're getting
Yeah.
at. Looking forward to getting back, doing that.
And
that 4.5 hour drive
Yeah.
in 20 minutes.
because he had that car that drove itself at 230k an hour. Yeah.
I remember we went out for some food at I'll say dinner, but most people say lunch.
Tea.
I'm not posh enough to say lunch. Breakfast, dinner, tea,
That's
supper.
it.
All right. So we were out, and he pulled out of that car park. Jesus, and it was like it was 90 degrees because we had to come back around on. And he just, whoa, I believe all the stories now. I believe more after seeing that. Just hiding out into traffic. I believe more.
Middle of Hamburg, one of the busiest cities in the world, and he's doing Starsky and Hutch pulling out of a car park.
I know. This is my road.
But yeah, we would always. I would always look at his biological time clock, and I would always look. And some of the staff would come to me and say, "When should we ask him for a pay rise?" And I would always say, "All right, well, he's seeing the kids this weekend, so it's probably worthwhile going in, probably just after lunch, and grabbing him then and seeing how you would get on with your 200% pay rise." So, yeah, I
This is after.
yeah, I use the.
This is after they had their union
No,
meeting.
after they had the union meeting, huddled around. We need to ask him this. What should we do? Right. Well, I suggest you go in now. He's feeling good. So, but it was. I believe in strategies related to where people are at the best. So I know I'm good in the morning. So if I'm going to have, depending on what industry you work on, my tough meetings are in the mornings, and yours would be. Yeah. So your technical, your tough meetings, your focus meetings would probably, I'm guessing, be in the afternoon.
It's funny that I would generally meet sort of 2
Yeah.
o'clock, 2 o'clock, half
Yeah.
2. I would much prefer after midday. The morning, I was always, I'm going to do all my emails and all my stuff in the morning. What I'm doing is I'm waking up. It takes me a while for my brain to sort of rev up. But once I'm going, I'll go. But I've got this whole sort of I don't know, process or just way of getting myself ready to get into this routine. I'll open my mails, I'll reply to this, I'll go and check to make sure this hasn't broken overnight, and I'll just kind of step into. By the end of the day, I'm off on one, and there's times I've like, how have I stayed here till 7 o'clock? It's time to go home. It's dark. What's that about?
How would you
in the morning?
How would you? I mean, I did this with some others the other day. How would you rate your sleeping out of 10?
What, the quality I get?
Yeah. Overall.
Yeah, aside from the odd stressy moment, once I'm out, I'm out. That's it. Don't get up, don't wake up, nothing. And I get up, and I feel I've slept.
Yeah.
It's only when if I get stressed, me sleep is ruined. So I'm either, as I am with just about everything, it's either good or it isn't. So, but 9 times out of 10, I get up, yeah, had enough, and I'm up and about, making me cups of tea, obviously.
It was something
And then,
I started thinking about. So we're all basically forced, because you're not in what I would call a mono sleep pattern. Yours is sort of a little bit more adventurous than that. I'm definitely in a mono sleep pattern. And I was, you go back in time. So You know when you were a kid and you used to shit your underpants and shit your nappies? Yeah? You know, we would go to sleep basically at numerous different times of the day, didn't we?
Well, because you put kids down for naps, don't you? You keep them topped up so that they don't get cranky, and so you can get them fed and whatnot, and obviously so you can get some time to yourself. But you put them down for, even in schools and play schools and whatnot. In play schools, you say, oh, well, it's nap time. Nap time, everyone. Get your blankets out. It's nap time. You don't.
And parents have such glee when they came to their family and friends and said, he slept through the night. He slept through the night. You know, got all the way through.
Yes. A number of times I've seen
So basically what we're saying there is we've forced the child into our sleep pattern.
So they sleep when we do.
Now.
Because it's convenient.
We've conditioned the child into sleeping a mono-sleep pattern. And if you go back to what cavemen days, you know, the guys in the...
You slept when you could get it.
Or when the saber-tooth wasn't trying to nip your bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
you slept when you could sleep, and you would nap.
Yeah, and the other thing, so if we didn't have a clock, and let's just talk about summer versus winter. So if we didn't have a clock in the summer, does that mean we'd stay awake longer, and in the winter we'd go to bed just because it was dark, or what would we do?
Ooh, I've heard that theory from a couple of doctors saying that actually just the presence of the physical measurement of time has completely changed the way we act within it. Because we can see the passage of time, we can see what time of day it is. Oh, well, you should be in bed by now. Should you, though? If you ignore the clock, when would you have gone to bed? If you didn't know it was 10:30 at night, would you have just went to sleep when you were tired, or would you have just got up when you were feeling like you'd had enough?
Yeah.
I generally do it in a couple of different packages. These days, it seems to be sort of half and half, or thereabouts. I'll pass out later on, and then I'll be up again watching late night telly.
You know, let's take typical Geordie worker. You know, we all used to work in factories and whatnot, and Monday to Friday, you know, we're doing the thing to make sure we get to work on time. Yeah. And then come Friday night, Saturday night, we're doing stuff. Maybe we're down the pub. Maybe we're staying up really late, and we're lying in bed in the morning, aren't we? And so Sunday night, we go to bed, don't we? And guess what happens?
Aye. Oh, you get wound up.
Can't sleep. No shit, Sherlock. You've just destroyed your sleep patterns for what you've done during the week over a weekend. You just destroyed yourself, you know. And then I used to do it.
I've seen them sleep consultants talk about that. Saying, no, maintain your pattern. Don't have a break. Oh, well, it's a weekend now. No. Then you're going to screw yourself on Monday morning. And I never thought much of it
before. And, you know, like my wife and my daughter and that. So come 10 o'clock, they want to watch Graham Norton, you know, and I'm going to bed. So they're left watching Graham Norton, and I'm up 5 o'clock in the morning doing what I would call something else. Not that, but something else. No, I'm emptying the dishwasher. And she's fired as well.
So they're saying then there's a discontinuity in your family time because you're at 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock. They're like, well, I'm still watching, you know, some of the cool stuff that's on at night time, after the watershed, all of that. And you're like, oh,
none of them are right or wrong. It's just, you know, we just find our own way. And I just find, you know, especially if I need a bit of me time in the morning, yeah? So that's normally only 30 seconds, but I need a bit of we time. Not that we, that you play that game, but I need a bit of me time. me time. My time for meditation and, I don't do meditation. But yeah, I just have a little bit of thought time in the morning, and I empty the dishwasher and make a coffee and get myself ready, my mindset ready for work.
This is your sort of your rituals, if you like, for that's what I was looking for before. Yeah. Rituals to sort of this tells your brain, right, it's morning and time to wake up. You do the same things.
Yeah. Touching on, sorry to put you on the spot, but what sort of things affect our sleep patterns? If you were to say you were a monotone sleep person, what sort of things would affect our sleep?
Do you know the biggest thing that affects whether I can get to sleep and the quality of sleep is what the next day is going to be like.
Yeah.
Because I'm always saying, "Oh, I'm not looking forward to this. I'm not looking forward. Oh, this is." So the worst thing ever for me was a job I didn't enjoy. My sleep was just destroyed, fell to bits. I didn't want to get up in the morning, so then I would be snooze, 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 hit the snooze button. Sometimes I'd set it an hour back deliberately just so I could feel better about hitting the snooze button. Or set it in 5-minute intervals instead of 10 so I could do it more times. And then eventually, you're going to have to limit it so that after 3 you've got to get up, and then ultimately you sometimes forget, and then you're running late, and being late destroys my day. I hate being late. I absolutely hate it. So it's usually something that's coming up that I then get into this obsessive thought cycle about, which means I can't get to sleep, and counting sheep doesn't get me to sleep because then I'll just wander off thinking about other things. So it's this anticipation generally ruins it, or an ongoing thing that.
Are you ready for a quick experiment? You know how you love these ones where I ask you to close your eyes. Right, you ready? Close your eyes.
Can I pretend? Can I pretend?
Of course you can. Yeah. Right. What I want you to think about is a white polar bear. Yeah. You got the white polar bear in your mind. Focus on the white polar bear.
Yeah. Coca-Cola
advert, or the little one on top of the mint. You know that one. Oh, that.
Oh, Fox's Classies.
There you go. So you got the polar bear. You got the polar bear. Yeah. Right. Stop. Right. Come back in the room. You're back in the room. You will pay the bill.
Look, man, just don't mind.
Right, now I want you to. I'd like you to close your eyes again. Right, now close your eyes, and I want you not to think about a white polar bear. Don't think about a white polar bear. Right, don't think about the white polar bear. Right, now open your eyes. Yeah, what did you see while I was saying that?
Cardboard box.
There you go. Yeah, Fox's Glacier Mint. Yeah.
That's exactly what it went from. I started thinking about the mint itself, then I went off and started thinking about things that were square, and then I ended up on some cardboard box.
Yeah. So the fact that we say
I was determined to win that one.
Don't or not, your mind will focus on the thing that you're asking it not to focus on. Yeah. Until you ask it to focus on something else, like a beach or a cardboard box.
So is it better if you're trying to move on from, like we were saying with NLP, with an emotional state or anything like that, is to shift it to a new one rather than trying to avoid the old one or the current one? It's better to face it something else than it is to say, don't look at that, don't look at that. It's better to say, go look at this.
The analogy...
Or get angry instead of scared, for example.
Exactly. The analogy I use when I was doing some of the weight loss stuff is if I say... I must not eat chocolate tonight. I must not eat chocolate tonight. The subconscious doesn't understand the word not. So then if I said, I'm looking forward to having my yogurt and fruit and a sprinkle of oats on the top, I'm reframing it to my brain to say to look forward to something, not to think about something. So
you're dangling the keys.
Yeah.
Look at the keys. Look at the keys. Look at the shiny keys. Look at this. Look at this. So you're going, right. So you're not letting it dwell on that thing, because you're going to keep having to say the word chocolate, which just reinforces
you're just
chocolate.
Reinforcing the fact.
I'm sure there's somebody eating chocolate right now listening to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I have a bit?
And they'll end up eating some sort of Greek yogurt and plums tonight. Yeah.
Plums.
So, the bit that we're sort of getting to that is, as you said, if you're really sort of anxious about something. The one me and my mother practiced was... not in the same bed, because that's a bit weird. But the one me and my mother practiced was visualising a chalkboard, writing the number 1 on and then rubbing it off. Now writing the number 2 on and then rubbing it off. It's almost like counting sheep, but it's supposed to be able to help you to, because you're thinking about different things. It's a different number system. It's supposed to help you to sort of relax, but not for everyone, but just...
Also, rather than counting a lot of the same thing, actually... write the number down, because each one looks
visualize
different.
The board, the chalk, and then rubbing it off, and try basically anything to distract your mind from the SQL database of ambi-triangle 3.142 that you were just about to sort of design.
Well, I was going to say that. So the key is, if you want to get to sleep, keep rubbing it off.
That's it. Yeah, until you're exhausted, and then. And what do you get after 5 days of thinking about that?
You would hope you'd get a habit.
You get a weekend,
right? Wouldn't you? Weekend. Me. Well, I guess then, rather than counting sheep, what you should do is count all the animals on a farm, right? Like count all the different animals.
Yes. Yeah.
Count the cows.
Count the cows. Yeah. Yeah. Pigs, horses.
So count many different things to keep yourself distracted. Yeah. Trying to think of it. I've often found that when I was proper stressed a few months ago, I started writing music in my head. So because I used to like doing a lot of dance music. I used to write odds and sods. I had a bunch of software. I used to write all these different sample songs. I think I've shown you some of them. So then I'd just start with a loop, and then I'd add another loop. And, like start with the drums, then add a bass loop, then add a synth loop, and then maybe add some hi-hats. And before I knew it, I was asleep. Because the music itself, that kind of music chills me out, which is why I listen to it a lot. Vocal trances has the power to completely change my mood, no matter what mood I'm in. If I'm in the car, listen to that. By the time I get out, I'm completely different. Completely different. That sort of music really has a massive effect. Music in general, I find, has more of an effect than
So here's a one.
Than I would normally admit, but doing something like that to sort of chill myself and to stop thinking about the room I'm in bed. Let's do a task, and it worked for the most part until I started tearing that whole process to bits and got myself all wound up again. But it worked for a while, so I then tried something else, and I mean I've got to sleep with the telly on every night. Yeah. I've started having rain on in the background and stuff like that.
So here we go, right? So here's the killer question, right? You've just met this new girlfriend that is, in terms of your criteria base, you've just extended your criteria base. You're smiling now because you know it's coming, yeah. And
yeah, I know you warned me of this.
And so you've got to interview her about her sleep patterns to check that you're matched. Yeah. What about that as a criteria? Because nobody would ever think to ask about, how do you sleep?
You would never ask. Yeah, you would never ask on a date. Are you a morning person?
You would never say, how do you sleep? Do you snore? By the way, we're just about to get it on, but I want to check before we take this any further. Do you snore? What? But if you're going to spend the next 200 years with somebody, do you think you need to know? You need to.
It's one of them things where you just go, that sort of stuff doesn't matter. But how many times do people complain about, I can't get to sleep? We're sleeping separate rooms now,
Yeah, because
his legs, man. His legs are always on the go.
Fidgeting. Always fidgeting.
I've got restless legs, man. Restless legs.
Who are they? Somebody else's, right? Are they restless? Yeah.
Nah, got restless legs, man. Oh, she's kicking us all night. It's kicking us.
You imagine her waking up and hitting you with a hammer. I was just asleep.
I've got restless fists. Can't help it.
Yeah. The other one I was sort of reminiscing when I was setting up my first house. I moved out when I was 19, and when you spend threepence halfpenny on a mattress, and you thought, I'm getting a bargain, it's threepence halfpenny that mattress, and it was like this thin, and now. Honestly, now I spend what I would call the equivalent of a small fortune on a mattress.
When I moved back from Germany, I spent probably more on the mattress than I did on the frame. Yeah. And I got this one that's got this material mesh along the top that allows the bed to sort of aerate and stops you from getting too hot, sweaty, and it's got this spring gubbins going on the inside, and it made a difference. And I stopped caring about what the bed looked like. Although, it's got to have a headboard. You got your headboard.
What? Anything?
But the mattress, though, absolutely. I spent I tried a few different beds, and I can't remember how much I spent. It was a decent. It was definitely more than the rest of the bed. Most of it was
Here's
the
the one for
mattress.
you.
Went down to Fox Hunters.
Here's the one for you.
Fox Hunters beds.
Hard or soft?
I've yet to figure that out. Because I haven't tried a couple of different ones. I generally just sort of bounce on it a bit. Could I sleep on this?
Yeah.
Aye. But I haven't tried a harder one to see if that would be better. Or got a mattress topper. You got a mattress topper. Seems to be the in thing.
Well, we just gone from we've just gone from one of those that has the gel in it. What a waste of money!
Mm-hmm.
It looks like really? Two dead people were in our bed. It's got them divots in it.
just got to draw the white lines around it.
And so we'd only had it 2 years, and we binned it last week, and we got a new one. And it would what you would be defined in the old days of orthopedic, and but it's now.
I had one of them.
Now it's just called.
I had one of them.
Now it's just called very firm.
Very firm. Have you ever tried that memory foam stuff?
What a waste of money.
I've been tempted to try that. Is it?
No.
Your mum's like, you should get yourself one of them toppers. Get yourself a topper. It'll save you changing the whole mattress.
Have you ever eaten a marshmallow? Yeah. And when you get in between your fingers and you squeeze it, and sometimes the first 3 times it goes back up, and after the 4th time it doesn't go back up. That's a memory foam mattress. Yeah.
Really?
Bloody crap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And they come with these 10-year guarantees and all sorts.
No wonder they come in a package that's sent by Amazon in a little small package, and when you
it comes in an envelope, doesn't it? And it just expands into a full bed.
When you open it up, it's a king size bed. Just add water.
Oh, you see them on Ideal World, don't you?
So what about
Well, the guy's jumping up and down.
What is there anything you wouldn't eat before you went to bed? Metaphorically speaking, of course.
Ooh.
Glasses.
Dawn maybe. Dawn maybe. Would you eat dawn before bed?
Never. Too late. Yeah.
Never. I've experimented with a bit of that, and I haven't found that it. Is it don't eat it now before bed.
Don't eat cheese.
Don't eat it now before bed.
Cheese.
Ruins your metabolism.
Cheese makes you dream.
Aye. Don't eat cheese. Cheese dreams. Cheesy dreams.
Doing it again.
Oh.
You and Eric.
No. Do you know I've sometimes gone and made something as heavy as a shepherd's pie, sat on the sofa, and I could just do with a nap. And I've slept for 4 hours straight after.
Yeah.
A lot. It doesn't seem to make any. I haven't noticed any detrimental
I was reading
effects,
because my wife sleep patterns aren't great, but I was reading about having oats before you go to sleep. Having oats, and
oats.
Let's just say 30 grams, 30 grams of oats. So just a little bit of oats, and but the fact that it's slow releasing, it stops you sort of spiking.
Slow release
oats. It stops your insulin from spiking, so it doesn't wake you up during the night.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, this is what people don't get about drinking Diet Coke with that aspartame in it. Spikes your insulin because your body's expecting sugar. It doesn't get sugar, so what happens to the insulin?
Yeah.
Sugar crash. You go smash your face into something, don't you?
Yeah.
Dawn, probably.
If you're lucky.
Definitely not Beryl.
No, she's in HR. She's too busy.
Yeah, way too busy. She's in someone else's meeting.
Yeah. She's doing a well-being course late at night.
A well-being course about sleep at midnight.
Right, you all need good sleep. And what's good? Well, you just need sleep. End of course.
You just need sleep. The course is out of hours.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm getting double time for this, so I can have next Friday off. She's got a busy day Thursday. She's got a course for 15 minutes because she's getting double time. It's now 17 minutes and 30 seconds long. I was looking at something called maybe circadian rhythms, and the fact that our sleep,
Circadian.
him as well. Yeah, that's easy for me to say. Yeah, and the fact that we go through cycles of 90 minutes with this sort of was it sort of light sleep into deep sleep and then up into REM, not the song.
I noticed that. I know. Losing
I
your
don't want to
religion.
lose that. No, I just want to keep me sleeping.
I found out when I first got this watch. It had all these bars, and I was like, "Is that what my sleep's really like?" I was completely motionless for an hour, and the rest of the time, light sleep. You were moving. I was like, what?
But
it was interesting.
I think you've caught onto something. You know, the fact that we're all sort of fixated on this monotone sleep pattern, and that what it's saying is that if you can get through 2 cycles of 90 minutes, which is basically 3 hours, that most of your recharging, your regeneration is done in those 2 cycles. And actually, in fact, if you woke up after those 2 cycles, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, and what I've done lately is I sleep when I'm tired, and the moment I wake up, I'm like, what? Am I ready? No. Yes. Yeah. No. If I am, I just get up, and it seems to work, and the quality of me day is different, and the quality of me thoughts, and I've started finding that. I don't know whether this is a direct result, but these days, once I'm tired, I've got to go to sleep. If I don't, my brain just starts wandering, and I just start having these sort of anxious thoughts like, you've got to go to sleep, and I just start feeling a bit out of place. So, right, I've pushed myself too long. So I think I must have got used to it or something, but now I seem to be quite happy to do 3-4 hours, get up. I'll easily smash out 8, 10, 12 hours, whatever it is, and I'll do another 3-4. But it seems to balance. It seems to balance itself out. So however long I've been awake seems to add another hour.
You can smash out 10 hours. Yeah.
Smash out. Yeah, probably could it this way. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's me innuendo. It's me innuendo. Look. Yeah. Misses. Not me. Not me.
One of the things we've done in the past in terms of study, and we've done a lot of work in terms of data on error rates, haven't we? And I was reflecting on what one of the things we did on data on error rates, because we worked in an industry where, in a warehouse environment where, you know, errors are important, especially from a customer service point of view. And what we did was we did an analysis of errors. What we found is most of the errors were in the afternoon, and most of the errors were sort of, let's say, that hour after lunch, where we're really struggling, and we found that we got a lot of errors. So what we did in one of the places we worked was we put in what we call a relaxation break in the afternoon, and it was supposed to be like a 5 to 7 minute relaxation, consolidation, thought break, and it was amazing the effect it had on our error rate. The error rate basically disappeared overnight by just introducing an extra break for them in the afternoon. So,
and yet there was massive, I don't know, management anxiety about the amount of breaks. But then, I mean, you used to measure it down to a cost per unit. So, a cost from the unit coming in the door to being picked and being packed and then shipped. So when you're measuring it down to that nth degree, now we need more product and we need more productivity. We need to have them going for longer. In actual fact,
it wasn't.
That's fascinating to actually just put another break in rather than take them one away.
Because the errors that cost you money in terms of putting them right and the cost of loss to the business, that 7 minute break paid for itself basically straight away. So it was worth giving the workers that extra break because it paid for itself straight away. Because.
So did you see a drop in things like mispicks
100%.
and cyclic errors on cyclic counts and
errors across the board? And then obviously the fact that it's like having a micro sleep. You know, when we talk about having this 20-minute nana nap. Yeah? You have a 20-minute nana nap, and how do you feel after the end of that 20-minute nana nap? You feel flipping great.
And surprisingly, you don't feel like, I need more, I need a proper sleep now. No, it's just it's almost like it's taking the edge off.
Yeah.
absolutely taking the edge off you. I'm ready to go on something else now.
I mean, you probably know a little bit about this more than me, but this thing called seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah, I get that.
So,
I get that every year.
For those that don't know, what's it about?
As the nights get longer, days get colder, but it's more about the lack of daylight, because the moment it gets towards spring, my mood changes entirely. As soon as I can see some green out the window, I get excited, because I'm right. This is the reason I got this flat, because you actually, during the summer, you can't see far beyond my window, because there's just trees right in front, and I loved it, because I've got the green out there. I can almost touch the tree, it's that close. But I just love seeing the green and the sunshine. I love it when it's 10 o'clock at night and it's still light outside. I feel like me best. I feel like I'm getting the most out of the day. It feels dark. Winter's just dark, dreary. I'm seeing nothing of a day, especially with the way my sleeping patterns work. And I've got to be up then to get all the daylight out of then, and I feel like you're getting outdone. And then I just feel like it's dark and horrible. It's almost like when the planet looks all dark all the time, I feel dark all the time. So it's like my mood rhythms are in with the seasons the same way that the planet itself is, if you know what I mean. It's surprising. I've asked myself this more than once, what's my favourite season? I'm like, spring. I like a bit of autumn. Because I absolutely love the rain. Listen to the rain, it's some of the most relaxing thing. And it's just, there's not a lot of wind. And it's just, when it's warm but raining, I love just go and stand outside. Just get absolutely soaked. But when it's warm, no wind, it's raining. But then I thought, well, the spring is when everything's coming back. I can see things getting green. I get excited about it. And I look at the clock. It's like, ooh, it's 7. Sun's still up. It's mint. I think I might nip in the car. Go for a drive with the windows down. And just the smell you can smell in the air. The smell of spring. All of that. I'm totally different in sort of March, April, May, those sorts of months, compared to sort of August onwards. I can just feel it coming, and I find the back end of the year far more of a psychological struggle as well, making sure I'm picked up, I'm peppy, I'm doing my work, I'm getting through things, enjoying what I'm doing is so much harder. So much harder, and it wasn't until it was some report on something, how they do these daft things. A study has shown that pasties cause thrush.
Especially steak baked.
Steak bakes, However, a sausage roll can extend your life by 3.4 minutes.
It.
That sort of stuff. This was about SAD, and I was like, what the hell's this? And it just clicked. And my mood rhythms change with the seasons, and it gets far harder to keep myself balanced at the end of the year. Start of the year, I barely have to try. So as this year's going on, I can feel myself improving already, because I look up and it's like near 5 o'clock and sun's still up, and I feel good about it. It makes me feel good to see that it's late but light.
When you think about it,
and I can't fix it.
Get into stuff like that, there's some industries now where would you work shorter hours during the winter and longer hours during the summer? Yeah.
Interesting. I used to hate it when I was at work during the day and it was dark by the time I went home, and it was dark when I went out of work. In some ways, I'd rather have some sort of warehouse job or something that was all during the dark hours, and when I came out, the sun was coming up, and just work all night on a night shift. And just not know that it's dark outside. Get rid of the windows. It's weird.
Have you tried?
I generally
have you
did.
Tried SAD lamps? Have you tried them? An SAD lamp. It's a LEC lamp. So, but it sort of it mimics daylight in your office. Yeah.
Daylight.
And they're supposed to be,
you see, because my autistic brain hates artificial light. I've always, when I'm working in an office, I have to have a desk by the window. I have to have natural light. I can't stand. I mean, this light's on. I've got a lamp.
Yeah.
I can quite happily sit in the dark with just the telly on.
Well, I
know that's artificial light, but then I can put up with that. But I cannot stand lamps on. Put the big light on.
Yeah.
Put the big light on.
Yeah, it's
no.
the same size switch, but put it on.
I'd rather have a lamp.
Yeah.
Put the big light on. I'd rather have a lamp. So no, I've never heard of those.
I was looking at it because I was doing a piece of work for a company recently, and we got into positively encouraging them, if it was feasible, to take a desk near the window, and then I was trying to persuade their management team to invest in these LED lamps. And I think you can get like you can get like 10,000 something that is coming off them. And if you got it next to your desk, if you look at,
it's usually measured in candles, I think, isn't it?
4 candles.
Like 10,000 candles or 4 candles.
So what's my beautiful face if I turn mine off, right? Yeah. So I've got a lamp.
Oh, you got one of them.
And honestly,
you've got one of those hoop lights.
Yeah, and I would positively encourage anybody that's suffering from SAD to get yourself one of these LED lamps.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at them now. It's got the light has got a little bit of orange in it, a little bit of orange and yellow, so it looks like a softer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not like a harsh, bright. Ooh, let's have a.
Have a butcher's after this.
I'll have a proper.
The other thing that
there's loads of it. There's absolutely loads of it.
In terms of sleep, the other thing that I was saying before, Simon, that is industries are starting to recognise that the younger guys, 20 below 25, 23 below that, they recognise that they like to stay up later, and they're starting to adjust the hours. They're starting to adjust the hours for universities to allow them to go into university later, to go into work later, because they recognise they've got different sleep patterns to us, and forcing them to go in at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, it ain't going to work. They're just phoning sick.
Especially in an environment that's all about theory, concentration, absorbing information. Because I mean, that's all you're doing when you're passing qualifications. You're just learning a bunch of stuff that you need to then either tick a box or write down later so you can pass a certification. So if you need to cram. You're not going to cram. I'm certainly not going to cram at 8 o'clock in the morning.
So adjust your business to fit the people that are coming into industry now. Adjust your recruitment, adjust your hours, adjust your demands to fit these fantastic people that are coming into the world now, into the work environment, and don't want to start at 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning.
They've been experimenting with schools as well, and how long the school stays open, and they even did it with Monk Seaton High School up the road, where they started them later, and then they've finished them later, or they've changed the way that the lunch break works. They've really been they're pretty pioneering up there, to be fair. And they did some stats on it, and it absolutely makes a difference. Getting them in. I mean, obviously, parents fit it around their working day when they're going to drop their kids off, so it does mess with things on that score, right? That you need to get them off to school at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can go off to work, right? Or you need to pick them up at a certain time. But when it gets to a high school, the kids can let themselves in and can let themselves off to school and or what have you. But it was an interesting study. It was in a couple of newspapers. I'll if I can find it, I'll send you. It was interesting to see it done locally.
Universities, workplace. I mean, the Japanese probably leading it. It's normal in Japanese society to sleep at your desk, your work desk, normal in the afternoon. At your desk. It's normal behaviour to have a nana nap for 20 minutes in the afternoon, and the employers recognise they get better productivity after that.
Madness, isn't it? So, and we've been ripping it out with the Spanish and the siestas. And I had a Spanish ex, right? So I've spent quite a bit of time in Seville.
Glad you finished that sentence off.
All right. Aye. Spent quite a bit of time in Seville, in the south of Spain, Andalusia, which is it's a very similar culture to the north of England down there. So I didn't feel out of place, even the way that they throw the language around the way we do. We just chop the end of words off, and so it's very like that. And I thought, I've got to ask the question: what's it about? What's the message, right? And she said, well, it gets too hot. It gets much too hot to get anything done, so what's the point? So what our dad was doing, and he was a bank manager. He'd be home for depending on how it was going, but generally he'd be home for something like 2:00. They'd have some daft dinner, and you know what it's like if it's hot and you've had a load of food, right? You feel feel sleepy, and they'd have a couple of hours, but then he'd go back to work at 7:00. So it meant that the bank was open at these unusual hours as well. So it meant that you could go and do things at unusual hours, and it wasn't unusual for them. She was getting ready one time at something like 10:00 at night. So what are you doing? So we're going out. It's 10:00. Aye, well, stuff's just starting to pick up. Really? So yeah, well, when you think about it, they went back to work at 7. They went to work for a few hours. They've come home. They've had their tea, and now they're going back out. You know, and then they'll start later anyway. So it was a bit of a culture shock, but I couldn't knock any of the reasons she gave me for it. I said, well, look, it's too hot in the afternoon. You've got to sleep off the food. You've got to eat. That we have this family time, so everybody comes home, and it's usually a couple of hours, or thereabouts minimum, where you'll come home, have your family time, you all sit around the table, have something to eat. Then it's sometimes too expensive to have the air conditioner on, so we'll just all go and have a nap. So I just got used to doing it with them. I said, all right, well, I'll go downstairs, we'll go for a nap, we'll have something to eat. And I saw the benefit, because then later on they're all perky, they're all watching TV, and then they all go back to work, sort of tea time-ish, anywhere between sort of 5 and 7.
I think the overriding message is, you know, the more we stress about sleep, the harder it gets. So, you know, if you can sort of not think too deeply about it and get a couple of hours quality sleep, bear in mind, we're all here, aren't we? We're here. We're here right now. We're not dead. So, you know, the troubles we have with sleep, there is a, you know, don't stick to one way fits all. You know, you're proof that you can work to a high level by having sleep a different way.
Yeah, I guess I've accidentally entertained the idea of what fits. What fits, and most people don't even think about what fits, right? They just think, well, I've got to be up for then and do this. Yeah, but you could change your career, couldn't you? You change your career, you could go and get a job that allows you to fit how you actually operate. I wonder how many people have actually investigated how, if given the opportunity, what hours would you work? What hours would you sleep? Because I mean, I'm at an advantage. I'm on my own, so you know, there's nobody to get in the way of it, or to be up for, or given as, you know, dagger eyes, because I can fall asleep at the drop of a hat. I never used to be able to, mind. Never used to be able to. That kind of stuff. You know, when we used to do a lot of flights, we used to do 2 flights. Well, I say 2 flights, 2 journeys. It could be 4 flights. And I got used to sleeping on the plane. I try and squeeze in, you know, like an hour, a couple of hours somewhere. I mean, we've seen what it did to our old boss, right? The hours he put in. You remember the day he turned up in Thailand? He'd already been up, I don't know how many hours. He'd been on the plane, even though the plane was 15 hours or something. He was like, nah, I've been doing this and I've been doing that, I've been doing the other. And he turned up, and we had to keep taking breaks because he was absolutely shot. Of course, he's probably one of the best people to talk about sleep. He's maybe even worse than me in some respects. The amount of times that he would try and squeeze in as much as possible, then go off on a 4-hour drive somewhere. So, mate, you've just been up 20 hours.
And that was an interesting thing, because he was trained by the military to when to sleep.
Oh, of course he was, wasn't he?
So we're stopping. The march is finished. Time for you to sleep for an hour. And he used to be able to go out just like that. And if we were going somewhere, I don't know if you remember, but if we were going somewhere for a function on a night time, we'd get in a taxi, and within seconds he'd be asleep. And as soon as we hit the place where we're going, he'd be awake and off again, more or less to mimic the fact that he was back in the military.
So he was very much of a mind that get the sleep when you've got nothing else to do. So if you've got the opportunity, take the opportunity to sleep. Get it when you can get it. I suppose when you're out in the field and field exercises and whatnot, you're like, well, look, we've got a break between here. If you don't sleep now, you won't get any. Right.
He wasn't forcing himself to watch Coronation Street. He'd be asleep while it was on. No. I wouldn't live in that street, would you? Fuck. Yeah?
Jesus. Do you think you could have a trial? You know, splitting your sleep into
I have
two?
to say yes, because I'm forward thinking, and I have to say yes, because I would try it. And when I say split it, so my preferred split would be, bloody dogs outside barking it. My preferred split would be going to bed at normal time, getting up at 2, doing something, and then maybe towards lunchtime having another 2 or 3 hours.
Also, like have a midday catch up.
That would be my preference if I was going to do that. And I think actually, when I think the way you do, I'd like to go to bed at the same time, but I think that's an amazing amount of work I'd be able to get done between 2 and the first thing in the morning.
Oh, that's sometimes why I like it, because I know there was a time when I first started working from home, and I just couldn't get my head into it during the day. Just couldn't. When I'm at work and I've got to, and there's people around, you know, you've just got to get the work done. But as soon as I was working from home, I would just leave my laptop on. So I was logged in, but I didn't start work till 5 o'clock. And I would smash all my work out. And I liked the idea, unless I heard a prompt on the screen, I had to get up and answer a chat message or something. I found that I felt better with work when I knew no one else was at work, and I could just crack on with what's the crack.
Well, the crack is my daughter's just knocked on the window, and she's drawn, breathed on the window and drawn something on the window. Yes,
all
those.
Meat and 2 veg.
Yeah, there's no salad on there, I can tell you. She knows we're doing the podcast, and she's still knocked on the window and drawn something on the window.
Yeah, well, you know where she gets that sense of humour from, right?
From her mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are we doing? What are we doing next episode?
That was a bit of a journey, all that, wasn't it? Journey.
I don't even know what time it is.
I don't know. It's got dark. We've done just over an hour, so I don't know. Well, you had a preference for the next one, didn't you? So we were talking over the list at the start.
I think we touched on maybe 2 for next one, depending on how meaty they were. One was I have to versus I want and will, which gets in very much into the mindset about what we're telling ourselves, and then the other was.
I like that because it's in the consciousness at the minute, isn't it?
And obviously some people are still probably at the back end of their New Year's resolutions, and saying, you know, I have to lose weight.
Did they start on a Monday? You started on a Monday.
52 of them in a year. Yeah, we're starting it. So.
Well, I started on a Monday.
And then something about setbacks and failures and how we deal with setbacks and failures and how we perceive them.
Yeah, that's been a learning process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take much to set my...
No, because...
To trigger me and set me off, so I've had to...
We could go back, I mean, because we started off some of the episodes asking particular questions related to the subjects, which tended to be like, you know... what does the question mean to you? What does the subject mean to you? Give a positive example. Give a worst experience. And what would you do differently if there were no barriers to that subject? So maybe we can start asking ourselves. Yeah.
That would, because that opened up some thoughts I hadn't had, or I hadn't had for a while. So that's I wouldn't mind that sort of approach.
Yeah.
And you could merge those two topics together, right?
Yeah. You know,
easily with regrets and.
It's like it's that stuff about I have to lose weight, or I will lose weight, but you know, what are you actually telling your subconscious versus saying I'm going to, I want to, I'm going to, I want to, you know, and you know, whether you call them setbacks or failures, you know, when you look back on them, are they major or minor? You know, some of the things that we really focused on in hindsight now, they're quite minor versus the major issues that went wrong in life.
Yeah, at the
And we
time,
give them too much credence, don't we? We
yeah.
give them too much time.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, absolutely, and too much emotional investment, which ended up which meant that the negative side of it was just as big as the original positive motivational investment. So then it felt hugely disappointing when that thing. Yeah, but look at all of that. Look, the size of the expectations you set, the mountain you built for yourself, and like I said before, mountains have a way of dealing with overconfidence or overstretching. Right, you're just going to fall off. That's it. You need to set a sequence of humps to get over it. Quite often, I didn't even realise that sometimes that along the way, you'll pick up some of those other things that you intended to add at the start, and you'll end up doing them incidentally along the way, and you'll not notice you've done them, which is the best way to get them done. You'll go, yeah, I'm here already. Yeah, because you weren't hiring all sorts of stuff at yourself. So 1-2 versus I will, and setbacks versus failure, that kind of thing.
Depends on where we're at, but we can maybe use that I have to versus I want to and will. We can use a little bit of procrastination there and try and understand a little bit about procrastination, because
there's I've got plenty of examples of that. Plenty.
Never mind, something to look forward to.
I'm better than I was.
We're all it's a journey. We're all on a journey. Yeah,
it is cool. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll set myself up a little Facebook post for it. Oh, I'm going to watch this back later and go, stop touching your bloody glasses. I'll stop touching my nose, but now I'm touching my glasses. Have I been rocking back and forwards in my chair all the time?
Apologies to the 70-odd listeners we've got now. We're a little bit too giddy today.
There's a fair few on Apple these days, mate. The stats are rocking. The stats are rocking.
This time next year, Rodney.
People like to listen. This time next year, we'll have millionaires.
We'll have 102.
102.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up, and we'll don't forget to like, subscribe, or on Apple, follow, give us a rating. We've got 6 5-star ratings on there so far, which is pretty good. Admittedly, 2 of them are me and you, but shh.
Hands on lips.
Shh. But so we'll catch you next time. Take care.